Hundreds of students of the University of Ghana protest over increasing cost of education at the school.
Live off campus, I have to beg someone to sleep by his side. Sometimes I go and he has locked the door, so I have to come back to campus and try and go and sleep in the 247 room. Uncomfortably, mosquito bites and everything. Chairman.
Member of Parliament for Bawku Central petitions the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice Shraj over alleged killing of a number of residents by the military. And later, police arrest 10 illegal miners operating within the Isiakwa portion of the Tiwa Forest Reserve in the Bawku South Municipality of the Eastern Region.
At dawn, we laid siege in the Forest Reserve and have been able to apprehend 10 illegal miners who had entered to carry out their business. As I speak with you now, these illegal miners have been handed over to the Chebi police.
National Council of the NPP continues with its meeting, hoping to set a date for its presidential and parliamentary primaries. Thank you for tuning in. And to our first story, President Akufo-Addo has accepted the resignation of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Minister Ebenezer Kojokum. The minister, who doubles as MP for Ahanta West, has been unwell for months, depriving him of his duties as MP and minister. The president, in a statement signed by the Director of Communications at the presidency, Eugene Ahin, says local government minister Dan Butri should take responsibility of the ministry till a new minister is appointed. Now, away from that, hundreds of students belonging to the University of Ghana Concerned Students Association marched through the principal streets of Accra earlier on Friday in the Yabremo demo to protest the increasing cost of education at the school. According to the students, the university has increased fees by more than the 15% approved by Parliament. The march, which began from the Brassport to Circle, Art Circle to the Black Star Square, was also to register concerns about the lack of affordable residential hostels on campus. Citi News' Charles Owusu-Kumi covered the event and reports.
It's just about 10:25 in the morning, and as you can see behind me, 2 busloads of students of the University of Ghana have just arrived. This morning they are demonstrating against the management of the school. The University of Ghana made a certain decision that after violent clashes between Sabah Hall and Commonwealth Hall, all continuing students of these halls have been evicted from the halls, and students have not received this news in good faith at all. There's been protests on campus, and the matter has even been taken to court. The university was injuncted, but still some of these students have not been allowed into their halls. On Citi FM and Citi TV, we've been bringing extensive coverage of the events on the University of Ghana campus. Students even going to the extent of sleeping on the bare floor. Today, they have converged here to express their displeasure against what they call is incompetence of the University of Ghana management.
In fact, it was only one time in the Bible that Satan and God came together to work on one agenda, which is when Satan wanted to tell God that Job is because of the riches that he's serving God. And then he threw the challenge to God. They came together to work to test his faith. And today, all the student fronts are coming together for this. So this is the very first time it's happening. And I'm so happy. One, we are in a university where fees, which is supposed to be increased for 15%, is now increased for more than 40%. University of Ghana is 75 years now, and the fees is increased for 40% senior. It was approved in Parliament that they should increase the fees by 15%. What happens? 2, the University of Ghana is too old to be facing accommodation crisis. Why do I say this? Accommodation is something that is killing students. Just yesterday, a non-resident student was being questioned at Oponglo, and his iPhone 13 Pro Max was taken away.
We're still with the University of Ghana Concerned Students Association. Their protest this morning against certain decisions by the management of the school. I have with me one of the leaders of the group.
When University of Ghana is grossly disrespecting the directives of the Parliament of the Republic, the highest decision-making body of Ghana, with regards to the not surpassing the 50% threshold, then what kind of information or lesson are they passing on to us? That we should disrespect authorities? No. Parliament gave a directive. Don't surpass the 15% mark.
But they released a statement saying that they are not overcharging fees.
They are overcharging fees. Because when you calculate last academic year's fees and then compare the 15% threshold, you realize that they've gone past it to tunes of up to 38% and then 40%. Yes, because the directive was not to increase last academic year fees. You get it? Another one has to do with the perennial accommodation crisis. Parents are being scammed. 8,000 cedis. Just a few days ago, one lady was scammed 8,000 cedis. People are being scammed 10,000 cedis. Why is university?
What do you mean that they are not getting they are paying monies and they are not getting their accommodation?
To people who pose as postal agents and the likes, and then they scam them. And you see, because of how the desperation of some of these people are, because they are coming from far places. So when you hear somebody posing and then looking a particular way, telling you that I have room for you, just bring this money, make this down payment, make so and so payment, and you get a room. You will be forced to pay, because you know what? You are stranded. You've traveled from a place as far as Bono Ahafo region, Western North. So when you hear offers like that, you see them to be what? Mouth-watering. So you go and then you fall prey to their scams.
I live off campus. I have to beg someone to sleep by his side. Sometimes I go and he has locked the door, so I have to come back to campus and try and go and sleep in the 247 room. Uncomfortably. Mosquito bites and everything. Chairman, it's words are, the words itself are not coming out. The words itself are not coming out. Look, the former dean of students was a percher. This goes to strengthen my point of this accommodation issues has been there since. Yet management have found a way around it to enrich their pockets. For the first time in the school's history, a private portal was added to our student portal to book for rooms. Rooms costing in excess of 6,000 and 7,000.
There was also support from the Old Vandals Association.
Education today become a prison for the rich. As I speak with you, we've done a thorough investigation. When you go to private hostels, people are paying as much as 9,000 for academic year, 10,000 academic year. And I will tell you, if you look at the current economic condition in Ghana today, 90% of parents cannot afford. Let me speak to the president of Ghana this afternoon. He's a listening president. If he could reinstate the Chiana A student for misbehavior, vandals have not misbehaved. What we are saying is that the status quo must be ruined, common law must be ruined, and these students who are vulnerable, who cannot pay this exorbitant fee, must be brought back.
On behalf of the Minister for Education, Dr. Yao Ose Educhum, and on behalf of the President, I take this petition from the student leadership and I will present it to the Minister. I know the Minister is going to engage all stakeholders that are mentioned in this petition so that together we can have a solution to this problem.
Since about 10 a.m. this morning, hundreds of students of the University of Ghana have been marching through the principal streets of Accra, protesting and raising a number of issues against the management of that university. They talk about increased school fees, which they say the university is charging more than the 15% approved by Parliament. They also raised issues about accommodation, and they say inadequate accommodation on campus means that students have had to cough exorbitant amount of money to pay for hostels outside of campus. They're also calling for the resignation of the Vice-Chancellor. They were met at the Independence Square by a representative from the Ministry of Education who promised to channel their petition to the minister. For Citi News, Charles Osukumi reporting.
The Citi District Office of the Forestry Commission has arrested 10 illegal miners operating within the Siakwa portion of Etiwa Forest Reserve in the Bawku South Municipality of the Eastern Region. The 10 were busily engaging in illegal mining at 2 a.m. on Friday dawn when were surrounded by the forestry guards who pounced on them after picking up intelligence about their illegal activities. Now, this latest arrest comes just a few days after the Commission set ablaze an excavator and some mining equipment belonging to illegal miners who evaded the Sejimase portion of the Tiwa Forest Reserve. The Citi District Forestry Manager Emmanuel Entry, who confirmed the arrest to Citi News, says the Commission will stop at nothing but ensure the prosecution of all encroachers.
Following the demise of an illegal miner in the Esiakwa portion of the Atiwa Forest Reserve, my team decided to lay ambush to be able to apprehend any further illegal miners who might enter into the reserve. Luckily for us, today, the 3rd of February 2023, at dawn, we laid siege in the forest reserve and have been able to apprehend 10 illegal miners who had entered to carry out their business. As I speak with you now, these illegal miners have been handed over to the Citi police station. Investigations are ongoing. I take this opportunity to sound a note of caution to all who wants and wishes to enter into the Atiwa Forest Reserve to carry out these illegal activities, whether it's illegal farming, illegal mining, or illegal chainsawing. The Citi Forest District is ever poised to take action against all such people. Therefore, be warned.
The Member of Parliament for Bawku Central in the Upper East Region, Mahama Yarga, has petitioned the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice Shraj over the alleged killing of some 10 citizens by the military. The MP is demanding investigations into the incident and 500,000 Ghana cedi compensation for each person allegedly killed by the military. The Ghana Armed Forces has denied killing some 7 innocent people who were running for cover in Bawku during recent disturbances. Now, the military, in a statement on Thursday, February 2, however, stated that they engaged a group of armed men and neutralized 6 of them. But the Member of Parliament for the area has sent a petition to Shraj demanding investigations into the incident. Citi News' Kweku Idiama Ansa has excerpts of the petition.
In my capacity as the Member of Parliament for Bawku Central, I hereby lodge a complaint on behalf of some residents of Bawku under Regulation 2(2)A and B of CI 67 pertaining to several acts of violation of human rights of some residents of Bawku by members of the Ghana Armed Forces. Among the rights violated included the sacred right to life of 10 citizens of Bawku who were shot to death by members of the Ghana Armed Forces engaged in Operation Gongong in Bawku on Tuesday, 31st January and on Wednesday, 1st February 2023. Children's rights, women's rights and property rights were violated. The military do not deny shooting and killing these residents of Bawku. A statement issued by the military authorities on the 2nd of February 2023 admitting responsibility for the killings is attached. I reject the self-serving cover-up account of the circumstances surrounding the brutal killings contained in the statement of the Ghana Armed Forces engaged in Operation Gong Gong, and hereby call for an investigation by the SHRAJ so that eyewitnesses can give accurate account of the brutality with which the military executed the killings. The incidents occurred on the 1st of February 2023. An earlier killing of 2 persons in Patelmi in Bawku by members of the Ghana Armed Forces occurred on the 26th of January 2023. From the foregoing accounts, the fundamental human rights to life enshrined in Article 13 of the Constitution of Ghana has been violated in relation to each of the deceased. Children's rights under Article 28 have been violated. Property rights have equally been violated. Women's rights have been violated. The military have violated every known international human rights protocol governing military intervention in civilian armed conflict. Compensation of 500,000 Ghana cedis for each and every one of those whose lives were taken to be paid to their immediate families, restraining the members of the Ghana Armed Forces from further acts of brutalities in Bawku in the exercise of their responsibilities to maintain peace in Bawku, adequate compensation to those who have suffered physical harm.
Meanwhile, some divisional chiefs in Bawku are calling for independent and non-partisan investigations into the alleged shooting and killing of some residents in the area. Residents on Wednesday, February 1, 2023, accused the military base in Bawku of allegedly killing 7 civilians, but the military has since refuted the claims. The divisional chiefs are demanding compensation for the bereaved families.
Following the alleged military killings of 7 civilians in Bawku, residents say they live in a state of fear and panic. Some divisional chiefs and residents bemoaned the prolonged acts of violence and criminality in the area and thus called for a lasting solution. They described acts of alleged military killings in the area as unprofessional and unwarranted in a democratic dispensation. They expressed worry at the excesses of the military, indicating that persons who come into conflict with the laws of the land ought to be arrested and prosecuted, but not killed. At a press conference in Bawku, the divisional chiefs want government, as a matter of urgency, commission an independent inquiry into the incident, punish persons found culpable, and compensate the bereaved families.
We are asking the government and pleading on the government to set an appropriate investigation body to come and find out the truth or otherwise. For example, they may be saying that it is an allegation, but if the committee investigates, they will know the truth or otherwise of it. Justice will follow. Whoever is supposed to be punished will be punished. Compensation, adequate compensation would be given to the bereaved families, and then we forge a way for peace as far as Bawku traditional area is concerned. We are not happy, the Bawku Naba is not happy about this matter, and is urging government to find a committee as soon as possible. Soon as possible should not be long.
The divisional chiefs expressed their quest to ending violent disturbances in the area and recommended the enforcement of some measures to bring lasting peace to Bawku.
There should be strict enforcement of the laws of Ghana in Bawku to bring an end to all acts of criminality in the area. This will require exacting severe sanctions against perpetrators of lawlessness, and including the use of both traditional and social media, that is radio, newspaper, Facebook, WhatsApp, for peddling false information, inciting hatred, perpetrating insults, and other provocative expressions against each other, and in particular against the overlord of the traditional area, His Royal Eminence, should be stopped. The security agencies in Bawku should adhere to the law and enforce same. All killings of unarmed civilians, as happened recently, should be investigated, culprits brought to account, and justice served to the bereaved families.
On a rather disturbing note, one person has sustained life-threatening gunshot wounds after some robbers raided a stone quarry site at a Wutukwe in the Wutu-Senya West district of the Central Region. The victim, Kofi Diaka, a private security guard of the firm, is currently receiving treatment at the intensive care unit of the University of Ghana Medical Center in Accra. Central Regional Correspondent Calvin Tete has more.
The robbers, numbering about 4, attacked the stone quarry at about 5 p.m. on Wednesday. A security officer who was stationed at the main entrance of the site was shot several times by the robbers, resulting in multiple gunshot wounds. The robbers made away with some cash from the site after forcing the cashier to open the company's safe at gunpoint. The victim was transferred to the University of Ghana Medical Center from the St. Gregory Hospital in Gomwa, Budumburam, due to the severity of the wounds he sustained. This is the third time the company has been attacked in a similar fashion, with the recent one happening just 3 weeks ago. The first robbery attack, which occurred some 2 years ago, saw some persons parading as national security officials, invading the site and making away with unspecified amount of cash. They were, however, later arrested. Operators of the site, who are expatriates, say they are terrified by the incident. Alex Thompson is the safety and health officer at Housing Quarry.
That's a lady cook, and then the manager was standing, a Chinese manager was standing outside the door. And then one security man has taken over, called Kofi Diaka. So before they realized, they saw these armed robbers coming in the max. The lady prompted the manager, so they ran away inside the house and closed the main door. Kofi also seeing them, he started running, and then they started firing. So I think a stray bullet touched him and then he fell down. There were 2 security guys. One was behind. Just as he saw them, they also started running because of the stray bullets, because they were firing. So one get down and he also started giving warning shots. So it's like an exchange of guns, and 2 or 3 years. We had man based on information that national security and civilians came here. And then the second one was 3 weeks, 2 days. When the first incident happened, we took a learning point that there's a need to reinforce the security, which of course we've done. There's a need to actually give them enough weapons for protection, which we've done. But this one was, they caught us unaware.
As of the time of filing this report, nobody has been arrested, although police have begun investigations into the matter.
Away from crime-related stories, and the Bank of Ghana has assured the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament that it would provide the requisite documents on the ounces of gold used for the first consignment of the gold for oil deal. In January 2023, the government received 40,000 metric tons of oil under the deal as part of efforts to offer much cheaper fuel options. Industry experts such as the Institute of Energy Securities and COPEC have called on the government to disclose the quantity of gold it exchanged for the 40,000 metric tons of fuel, as they raise questions over the viability of the deal. Now, speaking at the Public Accounts Committee sitting, the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Maxwell Opoku-Afare, says the details of the transaction will be presented before the committee in due course.
The Bank of Ghana appeared before the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament on Friday to answer questions on infractions cited in the 2020 Auditor General's report, and officials of the Central Bank were put under pressure to tell the committee how many ounces of gold were used in the purchase of the 40,000 metric tons of oil under the gold for oil deal. But the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Maxwell Opoku-Afare, assured the committee that the requisite details of the transaction would be presented in due course.
Would you be in a position to share with us how many ounces of gold was exchanged for the 40,000 metric tons, and at what price did we buy the gold? World market price or lower than world market price? Again, did we pay cedis or dollars for it? If cedis, at what exchange rate? Thank you.
Honorable Chair, what I can confidently share is the metric tons of gold bought by Bank of Ghana. As I said, we have two legs of the transaction, so I will not go into the exchange transaction. But the gold purchased by Bank of Ghana is not new. We introduced the gold purchase program as part of our building our reserves, and we are using a component of that program to support the gold for oil. So the metric tons of gold purchased by Bank of Ghana, I can share the details with the committee later on when I get back to the office. But what I can also confirm is that the gold is being purchased in local currency, cedis. So it's a conversion of our domestic assets into foreign assets. And then it is being purchased at the world market price. We use the Bloomberg and the Reuters market price to purchase the gold. So those I can confirm. And in terms of the ounces that have been purchased as at now, I'll beg of the committee so that I can supply that data later on, because I do not have that with me now.
I'm excited, and thank you so much. Once you are willing to furnish us, I'm sure that Chairman and the Secretariat would liaise with you to furnish us with that information. But I believe that this purchase program is also in tandem with PMMC, right?
Yes, we're working with PM. There are two different aspects of it. You know, we also engage directly the big mining companies, yes, for them to sell part of their gold. The gold they sell to us is monetary gold because it's refined and LBMA certified. So that automatically goes into our reserves. But the one we buy from PMMC, part of it has to go through a refining process through an LBMA certified refinery before it can be part of our reserves. But that part used for the gold for oil, you don't need to go through the refinery process.
Yes.
So we work with PMMC and we work directly with the big mining company.
Maybe I just want to avert your mind to the fact that your exchange rate, which you're using, I'm sure you use the Bank of Ghana rate when you're doing these purchases, on your own Twitter feed is somewhere around 10.2 to the US dollar. But PMMC that you are buying through is buying at 13. That's a huge disparity between your rate and what PMMC is buying. So that rate differential, that 3 cedi differential, almost 3 cedi differential, who bears that cost? The taxpayer, the Bank of Ghana? Would you swallow that as your debt? Who bears that cost?
So, Honorable Chair, if I may come back on that, just because it's a public interest question, I also want to give a public interest response. The Bank of Ghana does not have a Bank of Ghana rate as we speak. So what is being tweeted is our indicative rates, our rates, transaction rates collected from commercial banks at the end of the previous day at 3 p.m., weighted average based on the transaction volumes, and then published for the benefit of the general public. The difference you see from the commercial bank is that when you go to your bank this morning, they would have published an indicative rate, but not a transaction rate. So you see 13 or 12, the bank is saying that as you come to my bank, you may get this rate. But depending on the type of transaction you have, you may even get 10 or 11. So you look at the indicative rate and you compare it with their previous day's transaction rate, you see a huge margin. But then the transactions take place, you weight it, and it's not different from what Bank of Ghana publishes. So when we go out there to deal with PMMC, we deal with them on the rate at which the commercial banks transact business. And that's the rate at which PMMC also buys. So there is no exchange loss in that transaction.
The Ghana East Commission also appeared before the committee, and officials of the commission complained that out of the 14 million Ghana cedis budgeted for the commission in 2022, it only received less than 3 million Ghana cedis, which undermined the delivery of its service.
Currently, it is not the best. Our budget for 2022 was 14 million and we received less than 3 million. So currently it is not the best, and I don't even for the first quarter. Our last release for the fourth quarter, which was about 1 million, we received 300. So it makes it difficult to run the office. Thank you.
So the 40 million budget for 2022 was actually for item 1 and 2, basically.
Thank you very much. The 14 million was for, yes, item 1 and 2. No, it's for only item 2.
Only item 2.
Goods and service, yeah.
Goods and service, because that is the core
of our mandate.
Of your mandate.
Exactly.
When the Science and Technological Information Department of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research appeared before the committee on Friday, the chairman of the committee, James Kluchi-Aveji, urged the government to invest more in research works to develop the country rather than investing in the National Cathedral.
I want to stress the fact that all the countries that have developed, they developed on the back of science, technology, and innovation, and it's a very key institute for us. We are supposed to interface between all the research institute and the industry. Thank you.
You made a very very profound statement that all developed countries develop on science and technology at the back of the research. You didn't say that they develop based on prayers and cathedral and things like that. So we need to spend our resources on research. If we spend resources on research, we'll come out solutions to our problem. Not to go and gather and pray and go and import stone from India, Israel, and spend money to build cathedral.
Reporting from Parliament, my name is Ni Ayukwe Okain for Citi News.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom here on Citi TV. Still to come. National Council of the NPP continues with its meetings, hoping to set a date for its presidential and parliamentary primaries. We have the details coming up shortly. Please stay with us.
Is the neighborhood I'm having my twins.
The very reason why I took it for us. See, the price is very good and it's spacious to contain all of us.
Alphabet City. Now I'm a landlord. I don't pay rent. And my Airbnb business is booming.
To be prime minister, bank and I'm not say Alphabet City. The pension pay me 20%. The payment plan, I want to share my man. Just say, very smooth.
This is a healthy place to raise our families and creating peace. Come on, be my neighbor.
Alphabet City, the ABC of Home Sweet Home.
Alphabet City is a classy and peaceful gated community in Sakumono. We have 24/7 top-notch security and high-quality access roads. We have 3 bedrooms and 2 washrooms, 3 bedrooms and 3 washrooms with boys' quarters. We have 3 bedrooms and 4 washrooms. We have 2 bedrooms and 2 washrooms, all with beautiful kitchens and kitchenettes. Call Alphabet City on 0240-111119 or 050-44-99999. Alphabet City, the ABC of Home Sweet Home.
Oh, today he has been extra sweet, and the way he looks at me.
I have done everything by the book. It's on. Hey, but I have to get some condoms, Charlie.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
Yeah, welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. Now, another meeting of the National Council of the NPP to set a date for its presidential and parliamentary primaries has ended inconclusively. This comes 24 hours after a similar one also produced no results. Friday's meeting had in attendance the president and some senior party officials. Pressure is mounting on the NPP to, as a matter of urgency, announce a date for its two most important internal elections on its calendar. But the party says it needs to further consult before announcing a date. Citi News' Samiri Afe has more.
The emergency meeting chaired by Council Chair Hakman Owusu-Agyeman aimed at convincing all blocs within the party to reach a compromise before a date is announced. Two blocs within the party hold divergent views. A bloc believes the party should organize an early congress to elect a presidential candidate ahead of the 2024 election. They believe the 2024 election is a crucial one for the NPP and the party will need enough time to market its presidential candidates who will replace Nana Akufo-Addo on the ballot paper. Another bloc of the party also wants the party to abide by the provisions of its constitution, which says the party should elect a presidential candidate 12 months to a major election. Their view is that the party's constitution should not be flouted in any way. Pressure is, however, mounting on the leadership of the NPP to, as a matter of urgency, agree on a date to end all speculations. General Secretary of the party, Justin Frimpong Kodia, after a crunch National Executive Committee meeting on Thursday, announced plans to engage relevant stakeholders before a decision is reached. He says the NPP as a political party must get the buy-in of all. The expectation of many party supporters is that the leadership of the party should, at a matter of urgency, announce a date immediately for the party's two most important internal elections left on its calendar, the presidential primaries and the parliamentary primaries. Today's emergency National Council meeting forms part of the consultations the General Secretary of the party announced, and many thought that today's meeting was going to be the deal, or was going to be the meeting that will announce the date formally for these two important elections. But unfortunately, that did not happen. Further consultations will go on before the party will officially announce a date. From the NPP headquarters here in Accra, my name is Sami Wiafe.
The founder and head pastor of Power Chapel Worldwide International, Reverend Kwesi Boateng, otherwise known as Kwabena Edru-Jemfi, has secured a restraining order against Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency, Samuel Okujetu-Ablakwa. Per this, Mr. Ablakwa is barred from making public any disclosures or private documents, correspondence, communication, and property belonging to the applicant for the next 10 days. Mr. Ablakwa has, in the last few weeks, mounted a spirited campaign against Reverend Kwesi Boateng, whom he accused of having double identity. Reverend Kwesi Boateng, who is also the Secretary of the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral, has been accused of conflict of interest following some monies he received from the National Cathedral Board of Trustees under a different name. Now, Mr. Ablakwa has already petitioned the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, over the issue. Now, away from that, for years there has been a raging debate over the limited attachment to the number of persons admitted into the Ghana School of Law due to inadequate facilities. The Ghana School of Law says it is thus working towards decentralizing legal education by setting up many satellite campuses across the country to increase access without compromising quality. compromising on quality. Now, our Middle Belt Bureau Chief Edward Opomafo reports.
Stakeholders have over the years called for the decentralization of legal education to afford many Ghanaians the opportunity to study law. Such arguments are usually espoused when students struggle to qualify to the Ghana School of Law. One of the reasons that are usually raised is the limited facilities to take all students. In a bid to expand legal education, the Director of Legal Education, who is also the Director of the Ghana School of Law, Brema Yao Kodio Opon, says his outfit is liaising with traditional leaders to give out lands for construction of other satellite campuses.
It should also be possible for us, if agreed and authorized, that Kumasi, which is the pace setter for the true decentralization of legal education, because you know that the other campuses are also in Accra, as it is the case for Makola. It should be possible for us now, as some even chiefs have agreed to give us large tracts of land for satellite campuses to be established there. But of course, we are also minded by the proliferation, which may also in itself be counterproductive.
Speaking at an induction ceremony for students admitted to the Ghana School of Law at KNUST in Kumasi, the Chief Justice, Kwesi Enimiyaboa, urged persons aspiring to be lawyers to attach more seriousness to the profession in order to become good at it.
Please, legal education has not been easy anywhere in the world, especially in the Western world. If you look at the profession, just like any other formal profession, you have to go through a rigorous training. And some of you may probably studied other disciplines. This may be your second degree and your second profession, as the director said. And please don't take it lightly. It is not the case that because you are a pharmacist, the law profession is going to be easy for you. Because you are a doctor, this second profession is going to be easy for you. You take your lessons very, very seriously. I personally was a lecturer for about 8 to 9 years at the law school, and almost invariably, when students come to the law school and you try to let them know that this is a very special area because you've written very serious examinations at the faculty, and this is the professional course. Here you are going to be taught ethics, you are going to be taught advocacy, conveyancing, civil procedure, and this makes you a lawyer.
The Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA, is urging government to channel resources meant for the rental assistance scheme into the provision of affordable housing units. Government has launched a rental scheme to help ease the burden of huge advance payments by tenants in the country, but in an interview with Citi News, GREDA says this scheme only scratches the surface of the housing problem. Citi News' Charles Owusukumi interacted with some stakeholders in the housing sector and joins with this report.
Every man deserves a decent place to lay their heads. But unfortunately, in the urban areas like Accra, finding decent accommodation is not only scarce but can be very expensive. So now government says that as part of a campaign promise fulfillment, it is going to help tenants pay the lump sum rent advance, and then tenants will reimburse government in monthly installments. Now, this policy is meant to help low-income earners deal with the rent situation in places like Accra. So earlier today, we caught up with some construction workers who were pretty enthused about this new scheme.
See the 300 cedis. And yet, also sometimes you watch me honey be 2 bedrooms. My middle and sister, but they normal chimney hole. Your bathroom outside, toilet was outside. That the position is a woman.
Landlord, or do month by month, and 6 months, and I said 2 years. Advance, send out.
Oh, my landlord, no, 2 years. In fact, 2 years. On so. Okay, said, oh, bell rent for 2 years. Sahanoji, on just 6 months, only 1 year. To pay no the other form. Because we calculate this canoa. Wow, say 300 crown, I say 350 poor. Only have 300. 2 years, and it's almost 7,000 something. So paying in the area from 1 year cry, almost 3,600 for 1 year. Most enough for. That's a bit your rent in every month. Here, chairman, I good because it is a missing me months are in Biabo Yuma Bosumi to America. FA Bank. And say Kobasa and Akabwa because every month be a bit to America. And the boss said, "Me, boy, bisa I every day. There's every month you do and say, scan for bank and a month. Now I'm just saying, one hand will be any day. A boss are my better nasi, many bajipa.
First, not the non committee 150. But say, I know, I say, I can buy something like 2 months. Now I will soon know bet. Or say, I know, I'll bet to mark 250.
Dan Bensa.
A single room. Yeah, single room. And for now, no dear say, or any side there, Babo, send our can. We will say, I know, no down boarding. And I easy to say, be able to many 2 years, no wait here. So, because time I will make and I say 1.5 no dear, and then me to me, bomb home boarding it here. By the son of Babu to me, dear. In fact, I'm here, they visit there. Until they are binded by the dear, say, obey to my boy and they are. And then Kabusumi so and I can eat here. Until
So is this the best government could do? That is to pay rent in advance for tenants. We spoke to the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, who think that government could do this in a better way.
Is this the best we can do for the citizens? Are we going to make them perpetual rent owners, rent payers? Or what is the agenda to help them become homeowners? There are so many affordable housing schemes that are being implemented around the world. And one of the popular ones that we know is called rent to own. That is where you have to actually make houses available. Government makes houses available. And then schemes that are run by private banks or even another intervention from government itself will assist citizens to rent these properties over a period of years, and it becomes theirs at the end of the day. Is it not a better option to do that than to channel resources? Because I don't see any affordable housing initiative that's currently taking place, apart from the Kufuor affordable housing that started about 20 years ago, and we are still building them. And then we have the unfortunate Segelemi also issue hanging. So we think that if we have any kind of resources, we should channel it through increasing the housing stock.
Samuel Amegaibo also suggested ways these affordable homes can be built.
Can we ask our 275 MPs to work in collaboration with the chiefs of their area for them to donate 5 to 10 acres of land each term of government? Don't go beyond that. Each term of government, give 5 to 10 acres of land for affordable housing. Let's find a way to put in the basic infrastructure, the little road network. When I say 5 acres of land, it's not big. It's such a small area. But because we will design it in a way, we'll be able to get over 300 to 400 housing units on that land that I'm talking about. And we build this in every constituency in one term of a government. If we localize it, there's a possibility that any funding arrangement could be handled by the local banks themselves too. But we are interested in grandiose approach. I want to build 10 million houses. This is what we like. And then we quote huge sums of money, and it never happens. We don't even see it. And even if it happens, it ends up like Seglemi.
There are questions raised about the sustainability of this rent assistance scheme that's just been launched by government. That remains to be seen, and whether if this is the long-term solution to Ghana's housing problems. For Citi News, Charles Osukumi reporting.
And you're still watching the Citi Newsroom here on Citi TV. My name is Michael Obodu. Still to come. The National Road Safety Authority calls on government to consider the dualization of major roads in the country as a priority to prevent rampant road crashes. We have the details coming up shortly. Please stay with us.
Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up and thrive at every stage of her life with a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
A great journey lies ahead of us all, and we all have different paths carved out for us. No matter who you are and the path you're on, make sure you choose a partner you can trust, a partner with integrity who will always give you the support you need when you need it. No matter what you do and where you are in your journey in life, you are very significant, and so is the path you're on.
Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG, cherishes financial security as much as you do and shares the same values as you. That is why we are the right financial partner to stand with you. We are now one of the largest banks in Ghana, and we are ready to partner and work with you. CBG, we stand with you.
Yeah, welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. Now, the National Road Safety Authority is calling on the government to consider the dualization of major roads in the country as a priority to prevent rampant road crashes due to head-on collision. According to the authority, its data shows that dualization of the Nsaum section of the Kumasi-Accra Highway has massively reduced the incidence of road crashes on the stretch. It wants similar work to be done on various highways. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim reports.
Road crashes continue to claim lives of many Ghanaians. 2021 data from the National Road Safety Authority shows that 2,970 persons were killed as a result of road crashes in Ghana. In 2022, however, 2,373 people were killed in road crashes. Despite the reduction in the number of fatalities in 2022 as against 2021, the authority believes there can be a further reduction if strategic measures are adopted. According to the National Road Safety Authority, research conducted by its outfit reveals that 90% of road crashes in the country are caused by human behavior. The authority is of the view that once those behaviors are checked, road crashes will be significantly reduced.
We can conclude that over 90% of road traffic crashes are due to human behavior. It is interesting because people think that it's the road, but the road contributes a minimal percentage, and the condition of the vehicle also contributes a minimal percentage. This is because if your vehicle is not very strong or has a defect, and you, the human being behind the wheels, you're able to adjust accordingly, you're able to save lives.
The authority also says its research shows that one of the best ways of reducing road crashes is the dualization of major highways in the country. The Director of Research, Monitoring and Evaluation of the National Road Safety Authority, Martin Owusu-Afram, has thus urged the government to dualize major roads in the country.
We did a preliminary study with regards to dualization of our roads. It hasn't been a large-scale study, but we can say that even by dualizing Nsaum to Apija Junction in the eastern region has considerably reduced the road traffic crashes, injuries and deaths on that corridor.
The National Road Safety Authority says it has also begun training station masters as road safety officers at various terminals to ensure strict compliance to road traffic regulations. Speaking on the sidelines of a training section for some road safety officers in Kumasi, The Director for Regulations, Inspections and Compliance, Kwame Kodja-Etuahene, said the authority would sanction institutions, transport operators and other groups that fail to use vehicles that are in good condition to convey people. He added that they want transport operators and institutions to put in place control measures to prevent road crashes or face strict sanctions.
Within the enforcement mandate, our target is the institution. So when our law becomes operational, every entity desirous of providing transport must be licensed by us. So the VIPs, the GPRTUs, the STCs, all of them would have to apply for an operating license. Just as Iowa or Passion would apply for a license from GCA. And those licenses will come with a condition. So the entity, the company or the institution applying for the license would have to live to the conditions of the license. So if you are not training your drivers, you are not maintaining your vehicles, you are not installing speed limiters, we are not happy with you, we can suspend your license.
The National Road Safety Authority wants transport operators and institutions to regulate the activities of drivers who work under them or face strict sanctions. For CNews, Fatih Amin Ibrahim, Edum Kumasi.
And that will be all for today's edition of the City Newsroom. Share on the City TV. Our website, citynewsroom.com, has more information on our top stories and more. Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from City TV. You can also watch City TV on DSTV channel 363 and on GoTV channel 182. My name is Michael Obodu. Thank you for watching. As always, please stay safe.